Hey everybody, how are you doing? I'm Dr. Cole, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about another diagnostic lab that we run on patients here in Pittsburgh at our Functional Medicine Center. Hey Alberna, how are you doing? And Cynthia Hessler, how are you? Hey, back to you. So we run these on patients here in Pittsburgh at our Functional Medicine Center, as well as we drop ship labs for our virtual patients via our virtual, I'm speaking up, via our virtual Functional Medicine Center, where we do webcam and phone consultations for people around the world. So I want to talk about autoimmune diseases because it's a problem that's close to my heart with a lot of my family members that have struggled with autoimmune problems, and something that as a clinician I see on a daily basis. Autoimmunity, a lot of people don't know what it is, and if a lot of people have autoimmune problems and they don't even know it, it's widely underdiagnosed. So let's talk about it. An autoimmune disease is a disease where your immune system thinks its own tissue, thinks your own body is a virus or bacteria or is a pathogen, and attacks it. So it can affect every system of your body. And there is over 50 million Americans with autoimmune disease. Many don't know it. And it's the third leading cause of disease and death in the United States, and you don't hear about it oftentimes. And just as far as numbers are concerned, I think there's close to 100 autoimmune diseases at this point. We're going to only learn more and more of these common diseases that we see are actually autoimmune in nature. There's over 40 additional autoimmune, at least in part, meaning they have an autoimmune component to it. So this is a vastly under-recognized problem, and there's no options for people in mainstream medicine. They're given steroids, they're given immunosuppressants, and they're just told to go home and live with it, basically. And they go for years of their life struggling with these unexplained problems or these chronic autoimmune symptoms, and given very little answers or hope from the mainstream model of care, basically because there's no pharmaceutical drug for it other than the two that I mentioned. So basically they're left to fend for themselves. Functional medicine really, it sucks. I'm sorry what you're going through. I'm speaking up. It's just commenting there, and they're kind of understanding what the problem is. Functional medicine really offers hope for people dealing with autoimmune issues, mainly because we're looking at the root issues of what triggers this autoimmune inflammatory process in the body. But again, it can affect every tissue of your body, your brain. It could affect anything from just anxiety symptoms, depression symptoms, to brain inflammation. It can affect the hormones. But also, obviously, we know the labeled autoimmune diseases like MS or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or autism. These are autoimmune brain issues, and you can have autoimmune thyroid problems like Hashimoto's disease or Graves' disease. You could have it in your joints like rheumatoid arthritis. You could have inflammatory muscle issues like fibromyalgia. These are all autoimmune spectrum disorders or autoimmune spectrum diseases. And psoriasis, I'm speaking up, just mentioned psoriasis, absolutely. So you can have autoimmune skin issues like psoriasis. Even acne is somewhere on that autoimmune inflammatory problem in nature, at least having an autoimmune component. With this gut-brain skin axis or gut-brain thyroid axis, this 80% of your immune system, as we talked about yesterday on the video, check it out on our Facebook page or on Periscope if it's still up there, about leaky gut syndrome, which is a precondition for most autoimmune diseases because 80% of your immune system's in your gut. So I want to show you a lab that we use on patients around the world via our virtual functional medicine practice from a lab in Phoenix, Arizona called Cyrex Labs. So let me flip the camera here. And this is a lab of a patient of ours actually out of the country. He's in Central America, but we drop ship the lab to him, and we can look at every tissue of his body. You can see here, we're looking at the parietal cells, we're looking at intrinsic factor, we're looking at the thyroid, we're looking at adrenal glands, we're looking at the heart, at the joints, we're looking at the cell, the sex organs, we're looking at brain and the pancreas, the cerebellum, we're looking at actual cellular function, lots of tissue in the body, basically every tissue of our body, and we're looking at antibody production here. So you can start seeing this patient has multiple elevated antibodies outside of the range and a couple in the equivocal or problematic elevated range. So you can start knowing where these unexplained symptoms are coming from. If you have chronic gut pain or chronic brain issues or thyroid issues, this can give answers to why you feel the way that you feel. So this is a blood test. You do it at a local lab, and then the lab will drop ship it to the lab in Phoenix, and we can start to come up with customized natural solutions to start dealing with these underlying problems. So use natural medicines and food medicines and lifestyle medicines to start dampen that autoimmune inflammatory response, start regaining function and health. This is huge answers from a diagnostic medicine, because many people are undiagnosed and they don't know why they feel the way they feel. Labs like this can really shed light on, hey, what you're going through is not just you making it up, or you making light of it, or you being a hypochondriac. You can find out real answers for why you feel the way that you feel. And number two, it gives us a starting point and a baseline for let's use functional medicine so you can start regaining health and dampening these inflammatory responses. There's so much you can do naturally to modulate your immune system, dampen the inflammation, and start regaining your health. So if you want more information about functional medicine and what we do, check out drwillcole.com. That's drwillcole.com for more information about our clinic, where we do webcam and phone consultations for people around the world. Hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you guys next time.